Ladies and gents, welcome back to another video on the Barrett channel with myself, Ollie. Now today is a very exciting day for two reasons indeed. Firstly, I'm going to be checking out and testing out rather a new camera that we got recently, which is right here, literally hanging from a necklace magnet mount. So I'm going to be getting on the bike, having a little bike around the area because there's something I want to show you and talk about very shortly. And secondly, I've just had a friend from the UK land in Shenzhen. He's done his quarantine. It's the first person who's come over from home and since I've been here for 3 years. So I'm really excited to show him around. He's not going to be in this video, but he will be in one very soon on the channel. I'm going to capture his sort of raw reactions about coming to China and sort of the differences he feels as what he was told about China before he came and to what he feels like now after living here for a couple of weeks. So let's get into the video. I'm going to jump on a bike, my little Lambo as I like to call it, and let's get going. Here it is, the little beast. This goes about 900 kilometers an hour. I'll be racing Lambos down the street. No, not quite, but let's get going, shall we? A lot of you in the last video were concerned about my safety, which I appreciate. So I went out and bought myself a nice sturdy helmet. So we're all good to go now. Don't you get worrying about me. And I need to cover this hair up as well because after I had it short, it's been growing for like 2 months. And it's really not looking the best, so we need to be covering that up ASAP. Ladies and gents, I'm hoping you're enjoying the new view of me on my little Lamborghini. But yeah, we're gonna have a little ride around and chat, and there's something in particular I wanna have a little discussion about, and I wanna hear your thoughts down in the comments section, because at the moment in China, or in Shenzhen at least, there's been quite a few cases. There's around 30 to 50 cases, something around there in Shenzhen at the moment, and for China that is quite a lot. And the areas where there have been confirmed cases, there have been areas completely locked down and barricaded away from the rest of the city. And right in front of me, you can see the example that I was about to show you. This is very near my apartment, and this whole area has been barricaded. Can you see on the right here? There's red gates around this whole village. And it's quite a huge area because there was a confirmed case here about 3 or 4 days ago. And now, for the next 2 weeks, they're not going to be able to leave this area. Now, I suppose, you know, this area is quite big, as I just said, compared to some others. But there have been cases around China where it has been single buildings that have been locked down. So they've literally not been able to leave the building. And if you haven't got a balcony, that means you're essentially quarantined inside your room for 2 weeks without any fresh air. I would find that really tough, I'm not gonna lie. But as you can see, these red barricades are still going along. It's a really, really huge area, but there's all of these here that you can see are stores behind the red barriers, and they're all closed. Every single one of them is closed. So it's a really tough time for these businesses. I imagine all of the stores inside are closed too, because they obviously don't want COVID spreading. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether that is a government mandate to close the stores, or it's that the store owners are doing that on their own accord. I imagine it's a government mandate, but as I said, I can't be 100% sure, so please let me know down in the comments if you are aware of that. Now, as I just go around the perimeter of this red barricade, I want to spark a bit of a conversation about cultural differences in the feelings of being locked down or someone else having the power to lock you down in an area or in your building. So as you can see here, this road has been blocked off, and they're literally telling me I'm not allowed to go down this road unless you've got a particular reason, I imagine. I can see somebody coming down here, but I'm not quite sure. I guess it's just workers or something like that that are allowed in and out, but this is kind of a part of the whole village. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The idea that someone else is able to tell me that I'm not allowed to leave my building for the next 2 weeks is quite hard to comprehend, because I never would have imagined that be a possibility until I came to live in China. And even then, actually, it's just since COVID has come around that has become, you know, a possibility. You know, I've never seen that before. It's so interesting speaking to other foreigners in Shenzhen about how they feel about that compared to how Chinese people feel about that. I've spoken to many Chinese people who think, yeah, it's quite inconvenient, but you know, that is, you have to sacrifice those rights in order for the greater good of society. And while I do completely understand their point of view, it's really hard for me to feel like it's okay. It's really hard for me to completely accept that, you know. If I came down to the main entrance of my apartment one day and found that I wasn't able to leave, I would be absolutely devastated. I'd be shocked. And that's even if I didn't have anything going on for the next 2 weeks. But there are some people who may have a newborn baby, you know, that they're supposed to go and see be born that day, or they may have a wedding that they're supposed to go to, or, you know, all these kinds of important things that everyone's dealing with. All of a sudden, they're not allowed to go, even if it's them who may not have COVID, you know. I find that really, really hard to comprehend. But what I find even more fascinating is that many Chinese people will, you know, they're quite okay with that. There are some people who might not be, but the vast majority of the people I've spoken to will say that yes, yeah, it's absolutely an inconvenience, but we are willing to sort of give up those rights in order for the greater good of society. And you know, while I have to be grateful to an extent that they have been doing that, because it's allowed us to travel throughout China over the past couple of years quite freely and not have to be too concerned about our safety, you know, of contracting the virus. Oh look, I'm coming up to the other side of the village here, and there's some police talking to some medical experts. It looks like testing is going on. Oh, this is where the YMI guys, the delivery guys, they've got a shelf here, as you can see, to put the food on that people are ordering. There's people over there sort of spraying down the whole street. It is very impressive, really, to see how they deal with it and squash the few cases. Obviously, I would quarantine 100%. If I knew I had it, I would definitely self-quarantine for 3 weeks until it was completely gone and I was testing negative. But just the fact that I don't have the choice is a different thing altogether. But again, that is probably just because of the country I've been brought up in. Had I have grown up in China, I would probably have a very different perspective. And I do completely understand, and I'm fascinated that Chinese people will feel the other way, you know, feel that that's a great thing, that they're willing to sacrifice their freedoms in order for the greater good of society. And I really appreciate that point of view. But anyway, hopefully you did enjoy this video. I really wanted to just spark some conversation down in the comments, because this is a really interesting point of discussion and how people view it from different angles, from different cultural backgrounds. And yeah, anyway, I hope you did enjoy. We will see you in the next one. For now, take care.